Hello, and welcome back to City Skylines. My name's Sparky, and we are back here in the city of Baltimoray in the west coast of Scotland. The last time we built a nice new university, and yeah, a nice compact university that slipped into our grid quite nicely. And today I just want to continue on from there and build a new suburban sort of residential area. But before we do that, we've got to address a few things. So first up, last time we plonked down a helicopter fire station as a temporary measure because one of our university buildings was burning down. So I think I've found a more permanent home for it, and that is over here in our office park. These warehouses aren't really doing anything except from cost and money, so I'm just going to get rid of these. I thought they would fill up a wee bit more than what they have in terms of the goods that we're recycling, but alas, they're not really doing much. So let's just get rid, and we can plonk our helicopter service down in this corner here. So I mean, for now it's out of the way, and I don't mind it in that place, but we might build a more, permanent place for it down the line. But yeah. And now second up, we've got our entrance into the city, and as you can see, traffic flow is down to 83%, and it's not looking good, is it? It's getting backed up all the way to here, and that's only going to get worse if we're expanding the city. So I don't know if we'll do anything in this episode, to be honest, about it, but it's just something we're going to have to be aware of as we're building. As I said in the intro, I kind of want to build another residential area to the side of our university here. So to begin with, I'm just going to flatten a wee bit of land so that on this side of the road, so that the hill going down into the water is on the other side of the road, and we can maybe look at doing something with that, in the future. I just want to focus on what will be to the bottom of your screen here, this area for now, and then the area at the top of the screen we can maybe start to do some another episode. But yeah, I'm just going to bring this main road along. Just bringing this main road along. In the future we probably will use it to bridge across onto the land on the other side of the road, but for now I just want to sort of continue our little our grid here, and then, as I said, more residential, but I want to create a more spacious residential area for two reasons. Yeah, for one, it's quite hilly and bumpy terrain, so it's better to sort of spread out your grid a wee bit rather than having maximum density. So that's one reason, is to spread it out a wee bit, and two, as I said, it's quite a suburban area, so it'd be good if it was more spacious and more more quiet and child friendly. So I want to put a library in this corner, but as you can see, I need to take my road out and redo it at some point. But yeah, I'm having a bigger grid than usual, just so we can make it a bit more spacious, and it won't, the land won't be as lumpy and bumpy once we actually zone stuff in. Yeah, so as I said, I'm putting a library in this corner. Obviously it kind of suits having the university across the road, so it feels like a natural place to have our second library. And I'm just going to create a pedestrian area. I mean, we're only going to have a few buildings on this pedestrian area, but I do like to use the pedestrian roads quite a lot, so yeah, I'm just creating a tiny wee pedestrian area. And I'm going to have to create a temporary area across the road just so we can put our service point down. I'll find a more permanent home for it later on, but for now, obviously, if there's sim at any point, I just want it more pedestrian area to work. So that's the place for our library. So obviously our road our curved road round didn't work earlier on, so we're going to have to make a, yeah, as you can see it doesn't work, so we're going to have to make we'll make the back end at the library, we'll make a straight road, and then we'll just make the curved road from there. So I'm just putting a straight road at the back of the library, and then we're just going to use that as our sort of basis for curving our road round. So it's not quite a semicircle, but you know, it does the job. Yeah, I'm just making that a pedestrian road, and I want to do similar to in front of a university, and that is to create a space so we can put in like a plaza or something. Yeah, as I said, I just want to create a little square where we can plonk down a plaza or something. And I just want to put a pedestrian path down each side of the library as well to add a wee bit of connectivity. Just a path down each side to increase our, you know, our walkability and our connectability. And down the side of our library I want to have a row of shops. So I have a mini pedestrian precinct, if you will. And along this road here, the main road as well, I kind of just want to have another wee row of shops. I don't want to be littered with shops this area, but I do want to have like a mini commercial hub on this sort of square here. Well, it will be a square when it's finished, but right now it's just, we've just got two corners. So as I said, I want to plonk down a wee plaza here, and I think I'm going to go for... We're going to go for this ice cream stand. I think this will be a nice wee place for it on our, as I say, our little commercial zone. It fits in obviously to the area, and you know, once the shops build around it, I think it'll be a nice addition. So now the back end of our grid, as I say, let's just get something more basic down, and I want to bring the road that's on the quay wall, I want to bring that in a couple of cells, just to give a wee bit more space and people can walk from the pavement onto, you know, the quay wall. Before we tackle the road on the quay wall, I just want to make I think this is quite crucial to the rest of the builds in terms of where our grid over here starts and ends. So I'm just making a couple of roads here to mark out, you know, the edge of this area. And then we're going to connect it up to the side of our university. Again, this will all just increase our connectivity. And again, I'm trying to avoid you know, straight roads as much as possible now, because this is quite a suburban area. I want to have a more curvature look about the grid, and I just want to bring 3 roads along. I mean, these are going to be big blocks in terms of flats, but it's just on the line of, you know, big but not too big. I don't want to make any cross roads on those blocks. So they're big blocks, but I can live with them just with the nature of where they are. So now they're in place, that's going to be the edge of our grid. I just want to continue that sort of curved theme we've got starting to bring our sort of road up to meet the rest of our grid there, and that's a nice connection there. That's a big block, but we'll do something maybe later on with that. Obviously it's starting to get a bit, it's not looking the best in terms of terrain right now, but we can amend as we go. So now this road on the quay wall, as I said, I want to bring it in a couple of cells so that there's a wee bit of space, so people can walk onto the quay wall for one thing, and for another it gives, you know, that means the houses aren't, you know, right on the water, and you know, we can put a wee bit of landscape in to block the noise from the quay wall and whatnot, but we'll see how it turns out. So as I say, I'm putting in a couple of roads here. I don't know, I'm still sort of figuring out what I want to do. And I think I'm going to bring this curved road round. So we've got a nice curvature area. Yeah, I don't know, yeah, take them out and then do the curvature road. And I think that just looks a lot better. And bring this along for a wee bit more connection, yeah. I like the look of that. That's much better. So that looks like the corner there. That looks as if I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to bring this road along. I'm just going to bring this road up here. And I don't mind having bigger segments. As I say, this is quite a suburban area, so I'm going to be gridding bigger quadrants for two reasons. As I say, it's a suburban area for one thing, and for a second, as I said, the terrain's quite lumpy and bumpy. So when you've got lumpy and bumpy terrain, you kind of want to have bigger zones. So before we put that road in, I just want to do a wee bit of landscaping. As I say, I want to bring the land up to, you know, our key wall height that we've made all along. I just want to extend it a wee bit. So it's bringing my road down, and then I just want to grade this before we put our road in as well. Again, we'll tinker here there with the gradation with the land all the way along, and we'll just, you know, whenever it's a bit too lumpy and bumpy, we'll put a fix in. But that's sort of it's a good connection to make. And we're going to extend my grid down. Again, you know, everything's subject to a wee bit of change. I kind of want to avoid as many square blocks as possible and have bigger and awkward shaped blocks, you know, as you would in like suburban areas. So here I think I'm going to go for, I'm going to make a connection to the road before they all gone in. I quite like that. I mean, again, everything's subject to change, but I do like to connect roads to existing roads instead of making a junction every 2 meters, and we're just going to extend my grid over there. I quite like that. I mean, as I say, everything's subject to change until we were finalised, but I quite like that. So now we need to tackle the back of this area now, and I think I'm just going to have one big sweeping curve all the way around. I think this bit's going to be the easy bit because this is just a semicircle. And obviously I'm just going to make another connection here. So they two were fairly uniform. Now we've got three roads that we can hook up with here, but yeah, that's going to be a wonky segment if we leave it like that. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, that looks a bit horrible. We might make changes there. I'll need to rethink that one. Let's see this one, if we can make a better one here. That's a wee bit better. The one on the outside isn't so bad. The one on the inside is just, it doesn't look quite right, does it? Oh, that's what we could do. We could curve it from round down the bottom. Yeah, that might actually work. If we put this road back in now. Let's see if that curve... Well, that curve looks a lot better, I think, in my opinion. So now that I've got a grid I'm relatively comfortable with, we obviously make changes when we need. It's time to put in the rest of our key wall here. So I'm just bringing in the land. And we'll just bring this along. I've let it sim so the water can fix itself. Let's let us put it in anyway. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks really good. It's quite flat. It's what I want. And then we're going to bring it up to this side, the side here of the grid. And I want to go maybe to the edge of the semicircle. Yeah, I want to go. That's what I roughly want, but we'll see. Maybe we don't need to go as far into the land as that. Maybe we could go slightly further down to about there. And that might work. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, it's I can live with that. We need to do a wee bit of terraform, but I think that looks not too bad. So let's tidy this up a wee bit here and see how it looks. And we'll need to take these roads out, I think, here to do some more terraforming, and then reapply them. Yeah, it's just a wee bit messy. So I'm just smoothing out the land as much as I can, and that should be a good connection once we put it back in here. And yeah, that looks really neat. In terms of the key, I think that's kind of suits. That's as best I think we can hope for. I didn't really want to do a whole lot of terraforming there just to fit the key wall in. So now that I'm quite happy with my grid, let's put some water pipes in. You know, under the road, as it should be. Our grid's a wee bit different shaped and sizes, so we're probably going to have to put more pipes in than normal, but you know, that is what it is. But I think in terms of the grid, I'm quite happy the way it's turned out, and it's you know, with the suburban areas, you kind of want to avoid having big squares as much as you can. And we do have some squares, and I don't mind that, but around the edges of it, and you want to kind of make it as curved as possible, and you know, in a natural way. So I might make a slight amendment to our grid. We might just try and fit a wee building into that little segment there. It's probably too small to have, you know, an elementary school. We might get a wee police office in it or something. And I've made a square in the middle again. That's kind of reserved for park areas, but we'll see. I don't really want to build another square park. I want to try and avoid that. So before we start simming here, I just want to do a wee bit of decoration on this entranceway into this sort of little library area slash, you know, shopping hub. So I'm going to put pedestrian roads. Oh, someone's went wonky with that one in the middle there. So I'm going to put pedestrian roads, one with a tree in the middle for the, we'll call that our main pedestrian road, and just one round the side. Have two, and in the middle, I think we'll change them actually to ones. So it's a wee bit busy. We're going to have to change the tree because the basic tree is far too big. We'll use a sugar maple. Oh, they're a wee bit too big as well. We might make changes to them. We'll use a sugar maple on, you know, the more spaced out ones, we'll use the sugar maple. For the double lane ones, we're just going to use the Londons again. So that's a wee bit better, I think. Similar to a university, we're just going to put bushes all round one sort of grassy quadrants. Bushes in place, just another few trees, I think. I think we'll go for the cherry blossom trees, as I call them. Just 4 in each area. Give a wee bit more colour. It's a wee bit too green. I kind of want a wee bit more colour to it. I think that looks quite good as a sort of entranceway. We've got our wee ice cream plaza. We've got our library, and obviously the shops haven't zoned in yet, but we'll have shops around the edges. I think that's a nice wee entrance. So we've left ourselves a tiny little segment here, and I like to do that every now and again. I mean, it's a wee bit too wee. Like, I would normally put an elementary school in there, but as you can see, it doesn't fit. So we're going to have to try and find something to use, and I think we can use one of the smaller police stations. And I think that'll just fit in there nicely. We'll put a wee bit of landscape in as well. We'll have put a couple of trees in, a couple of chestnut trees. And we're going to fence off as well. We may as well, just in case I accidentally zone something. Plus, you know me, I like to fence off little buildings like this when we've got like a more unique building. So it's not perfect, but you know, I can live with that. It's a nice wee police station, and we might put some more bushes in here as well. Let's go for the more crazy bushes at the back here. So a wee bit of bushes, make it look a wee bit unkept at the back and at the sides, but that'll do. So given it's a large residential area, I kind of want to have some, well, I want to have a lot of services in here as well. So let's find a place for, you know, an elementary school. So I think this quadrant here might be quite good for our elementary school, but for some reason it's not letting me put it where I want it. I'm just going to delete the road and put it back in again. I wanted to have it more centralised in the quadrant there was what I was doing. So now it's in, same as usual, do a wee bit of landscaping, make it a wee bit more neat and tidy. So this is going to be quite a big area for, you know, an elementary school. You know, as I say, I like to have my schools, I like to give them more space. Because sometimes I feel as if, well, in my previous builds I used to just cram them in wherever, and they just didn't make, it just didn't look the best, you know. So again, we're just fencing it off, and then we can do some landscaping. Considering it's quite a big area we've got, we can put more trees in around the edges than we normally do. Because there's tons of space, and I think that's basically all that's needed. There's a few chestnut trees, there's plenty of space at the back, and I think that'll look quite nice once, you know, things will zone in around it. So as you can see, I've been letting it sim, let it fill in, but I'm just going to upgrade the roads while we're doing that. So the one with the tree in the middle. So road updated, we're just going to change the tree as well to, I think we'll go for the linden again. As I say, I want this to be quite a quiet and peaceful neighbourhood. So we're just upgrading all the trees to lindens. And voila. So as you can see, I've done some more zoning, and I've been letting it sim while we do that, and I want to, as I say, I want to have basically all the services over here, so I need to try and fit in a fire station somewhere. We're just going to have a small one, I don't think we need a huge one, because there's good coverage over a more sort of higher, you know, with higher density areas, so see, I don't know if I like it there, to be honest. I kind of want it further away from the other two that we've got, so I'm going to delete that one. I think I'm going to just put it way up here in the far corner, basically, off the main road. As I say, that main road will be continuing over the water there, so I think that's a nice spot to put it. And it covers most of the new area, so yeah, we'll leave that there. So we've got a fire, we've got police. It's time for a wee clinic. Now there's a hospital not too far away, so a wee clinic is basically all we need. And I think I'm just going to stick in that corner there. As I say, we don't need anything too major over here. Just another wee clinic just to keep us going. We have an elementary school, and to be honest, I wasn't going to put a high school over here initially, but I think I'm going to change my mind. I think I'm just going to put another one in. I just don't know where to put it, but as a thing, usually I like to, I mean, this quadrant's a funny shape, it's usually, and it's quite small, that's what my categories usually are when I want to have a high school, but I don't know. So back to services, I need to have a crematorium over here, I think. And I think I'm just going to stick it next to our fire station here. It's kind of out the road in the corner. And child health centre, I think we need one over here. Although having said that, this quadrant is a good shape, we can put another elder care in. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. I'm just going to get rid of that quadrant there and put an elder care in. So because it's a big asset, need to do a tiny wee bit of terraforming. Try and eliminate as much of the lumpies and bumpies as we can. And similar to our other buildings that we do this with, just going to fence it off. Just fencing it off, and then obviously the usual, do some landscaping. Yeah, so I've been using quite a lot of chestnut in this area. I think I'm just going to use oak trees for this elder care, and again we're just going to put oaks down the side. Want to try mix it up a wee bit and have a couple of chestnut trees as well. So there's a good mix of trees, and just have a few more chestnuts at the back here. Have them a wee bit more spread out. I've not used that many of these, but I forget there's props for in the park, so I'm just going to have one of these sort of pavilion type things. Matches the other side, so we've got another one of them in there. We can maybe put some more features in, but I don't know what else you can really put in there. Maybe a couple of benches, I don't know, but that looks not bad anyway. So I've been letting it sim and doing a wee bit more zoning. I should probably use a brush, but I like to avoid, you know, 1x1s for we're zoning. But I just remembered we've left for ourselves this big square that I was going to use as a park, but for now I think I'm going to change my mind now, and we're going to put high school in here, I think. So the terrain's a bit lumpy and bumpy, so I'm actually going to move it to the other corner. This side of the quadrant, you know, as you can see, it's a lot flatter, so we don't have to do nearly as much terraforming as we did when it was in the other corner. And yeah, I think it fits. I mean, it would fit in the other corner, but it's just in terms of landscaping, it's much easier on the eye to have it in this quadrant here. So we're going to make a slight change to our grid. We're going to have a slightly smaller square there, and then we're just going to have to make we'll just have a squiggly road to hook up to our other road, and it'll give that sort of feeling of, you know, it's not just a square grid, it's, you know, it's got a nice mix in it somewhere, you know. So it adds a wee bit more, I don't know, a bit more depth to it, because when it's just square grid after square grid, it gets a bit repetitive. I think in the suburban areas, you kind of need to mix it up a wee bit, and I think it's starting to come together now that we're adding in the high school. As I said, I wasn't initially going to have another one, but I think it fits in quite nicely. So same as before, we're going to squeeze in, you know, what the usual, a basketball court and a tennis court. And we're just going to plonk down a path in the middle. That was a wee bit wonky, I just wanted to redo that there. And I'm just going to put a couple of trees in. Just a couple of chestnut trees either side, and voila. So we've got some more zoning we can use now. This area is actually a lot larger than I thought it was initially going to be, but I'm quite happy with that. We've got basically all our services over here. We've got, you know, a high school, an elementary school, the university's right on our doorstep as well. We've got our services as well in terms of deaf care, health care, fire and police. The only thing that's missing is a wee park, and funnily enough we happen to have a funky shaped quadrant right next to us, which I think I'm going to turn into a park. But before I work on that park, I just want to upgrade this road here. I think I'm going to do something a wee bit different, because it's a more suburban area. I think we're going to try having the bike lanes all the way up here. And the reason being is, as I said, it's more of a suburban area. It's next to our university, so there might be some students as well who would prefer to cycle. And we need to get some more bike lanes into the city if we're going to reduce our traffic. Not to mention we've got a quay wall there, which we haven't hooked any paths up to it yet, but we're going to hook some paths up to our quay wall so the people can walk and cycle along that as well, hopefully. So yeah, talking of the quay wall, I just want to do a wee bit of smoothing of the land around it, do a wee bit of tinkering with it, and we're going to have a path from the edge of our quay wall into a sort of road junction there. Now they can basically walk from there all the way down to our fishing industry if they wanted to. You know, it's a bit of a trek, even on a bike, but kind of want to just have them connected anyway, and as I say, if I've got that main road there with the cycling lanes, we might see a wee bit more, you know, cycling traffic through the area. So a wee bit more zoning around the edges there. And I just want to put down some more trees, especially on the sort of the cliff bit, to sort of block people off from, you know, I don't want people just wandering off the road straight into the water, so I just want to make some more trees on the sort of waterfront area. And I just want to add some more paths from basically every junction that we've got, every road junction where people can cross. I want to have a path onto our quaywall. I don't care how big, I don't care how big or small the the distances are between the paths. I just want to have a path, every possible opportunity, then people can get on and off the quaywall, you know, just as easy. So every road junction, have a path. And again, we're going to put some trees on along the waterfront. I say I don't want them to be too close together, because I want to sort of give people some view of the water, but at the same time I do think it will be good to sort of block some of the noise from people walking by and whatnot, and give a wee bit of protection as well. Just, I think it makes it look a bit better. It's not just a bare waterfront, there's some trees along it. So we've obviously got a bigger section we need to deal with in terms of the waterfront. But in terms of that area there, I think that looks really good, you know. That's just a nice view. So yeah, we've got this area here, which is a funky shape. I'm just going to pause it while we do stuff here. Yeah, I want to turn this area into a park. I don't think I'm going to have it as a city park with gates and all the rest of it. I think I'm just going to plonk down a few assets. So yeah, just a few assets. I think we're going to go for, obviously have to have a dog park in there somewhere. Yeah, we'll stick the dog park here for now. We can always, you know, move it around and tinker about. And then the park with trees, I think we're going to have it in this sort of bigger corner here. And it comes with paths that we can, you know, we can spread that out to each corners of this sort of weird quadrant. So I quite like that asset there. And we're just going to have a small playground as well, up in this corner. So as I said, we can use the paths that are already on this asset, and we can spread it to each of the road junctions, so there's plenty of accessibility about it. It means people can come from all sides of the neighbourhood to this park. We're just going to cover in this dog park here, and it's starting to look a bit like a spider web, you know. It's just going all different directions, and I just want to do a wee bit more connectivity. So we might be able to fit in one more park area, because there's a small area just there at the top there, but I don't know if anything else is going to fit in there, but we'll see if we can find something. Let's see if we can get this food truck plaza in there. Well, it fits in at least. It fits in, but because of the land is lumpy and bumpy, I don't know if I like it, and it's a bit bright in terms of colours as well. But we might just leave it at these three assets and just leave it as a, at that. And then I think we'll just add a wee bit more landscape and a few trees. Yeah, I think we'll just leave it at that, and we'll add some chestnut trees and a couple of oaks as well, and job done, I think. So well, we bonked down this service point. Obviously we need it because we've got our library and a couple of shops on that pedestrian road there. We do need it, so, and I need to find a permanent home for it. That corner there might be okay. My only issue with it is it doesn't really suit there, does it? I mean, it's going to be a wee bit noisy for the you know, the residential houses round about it. Not to mention there's a couple of shops and there's all of a sudden there's a service point. I don't know if I like it there. Let's see if we can find somewhere else we can put it. Ah, so we've got a space in here. We have the space in here which we could use to hide it in there. Yeah, I think that'll be a really good place to put it actually, yeah. So we're going to have to extend our sort of pedestrian area just a wee bit here across the road. And we're just going to have it in there. Again, we can tidy up the you know, the area thing afterwards, but I think in the middle here, because there's a gap behind it, yeah, that's a brilliant, that's a good place to have it. Yeah, we'll put it in there. D-zone some of this here. And we'll just put our zoning back in. Yeah, you don't even notice the service point in there, which is quite good. I'm just going to do a wee bit of jiggery poker here. Rezoning this area here. And yeah, you don't even notice the service point in there. So as you can see, I've been letting it sim, and it's mostly filled in. I think we are going to leave it here. I'll just give a wee tour as we're going out here. We managed to get all our services over here. We've got a library, got a high school, an elementary school, we've got a couple of local parks, and elder care, obviously a lot of residential. Yeah, it's all came together quite nicely. It's very sprawled out, and even though it was quite a hilly terrain, you know, I don't think you really notice it. But yeah, I think I'm quite happy with the way it's turned out. So we've still got that segment there on the right hand side that we can do something with, but that might just become residential as well, we'll see. You know, if you like this build, you know, like and subscribe, and if you want to see where the city goes from here, and thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.